I love making these videos so much. The thing I love more though is editing them, and the unfortunate thing with my brain at its current state is that I simply cannot think of anything to talk about that doesn't revolve around A, mental health, or B, being gay, or C, being black. Like, I don't know how people have like such profound opinions on things that like don't directly correlate to them. I could write so much, talk so much about how like music can be transformative, how body modifications and excess is like a form of crying for help. There's so many things that I personally relate to that I could talk so much about because that's my life, but it's so hard for me to conceptualize people speaking about things that have next to nothing to do with them. Like, I love researching things, it's so interesting, but like people to just sit, look at a camera and talk like all on your own seems so very difficult. And like I mean, honestly, I should just bring in another guest because my first video with Grace was so well received, and that's honestly my favorite video, and editing that was so much fun. So I should summon a guest is my conclusion. But unfortunately, all the people on this college campus are disgustingly busy because we are overachieving perfectionists who love the grind. So maybe next time. Not today, but next time. The only topic I can think of is how like the performative mask competitions as opposed to performative male competitions are actually like they're funny, and like sure, you gather a bunch of like hot people and like that's great for like media, TikTok, people in the comments with their fucking like gif reactions. The best one I saw today was like the image of like the woman on roller skates in her bride's dress and like her wedding dress with like flowers, like roller skating really fast, and that was a good reaction meme. But other than the reaction memes and like the short moments of like haha that's funny, or like I don't know, I saw a video of like the winner of the New York City like performative mask contest like flexing it. She was like, oh, so I just won this. Like, that's fun and all, but like fundamentally how these things and like frameworks set us back as a society. So essentially the performative mask contest is for like masculine presenting women, typically lesbians, and it's derived off like the performative male contest. And the idea of a performative male is like a man that has been deeply not yeah, a man that has been like deeply influenced by a woman or is doing the things that like women like to see. Like the idea is that like men aren't listening to Clara, they're not reading books, they're not drinking matchas. Those are things like reserved for women, which like in and of itself is a harmful framework because none of these things have gender objectively. And like, yeah, maybe I see my girlfriends drinking matcha a lot more than my guy friends, but I'll tell you what, I had a guy friend that wanted a matcha vape. So what that says about the world, I don't know, but like guys can like matcha, guys can listen to Claire out, guys can read books. Like, I think especially this generation, like we argue so much, or we think so highly about like real world issues and like the implications in which they have, and also like to keep us entertained, like we are still gonna play off of these like systemic constructs because that's all we know and all we have. It's like you either pick the battle if you're fighting for it, or it's the thing that like you're making fun of, you're making, what is the word, I don't know, you're making fun of, or like you're playing into. But like realistically, if we want to make sustainable change, like as funny as it is, there really is not space in the world to be doing these types of things because we're really just playing into the things we're like trying to combat against directly. And the question is, how do we navigate that in a way that's mindful and doesn't continue to like contribute to these systemic issues, I guess is the question. So back to what I was saying, performative male contest, it's like these started like probably like a month ago, and it's like people would joke like performative male contest in my room, blah blah blah, and it's like to get like all these guys that like girlier things and like are like supposed to be more emotionally intelligent, which again is like harmful because men can be emotionally intelligent or they cannot be, or they can be somewhere on the spectrum, same as women, same as literally anybody in this world. But like the like, oh, emotionally intelligent men, like those don't exist, well, that's bullshit. And that's also why men's mental health is so deeply undermined, and like why the suicide rate for men is so high. Besides the point, never besides the point, but besides this point. So yeah, that's like where it started, and then from there people created, or I'm just on the side, I don't know how many like different performative whatever contests there are. I'm sure there's a plethora, but because I am me and I love women, my For You page and like all my timelines are showing up like performative mask contests. So again, masculine presenting women being performative in whatever nature. And honestly, I think performative male contest, I love to make fun of men. I love to laugh at men. But like fundamentally I also know that like that's not really helpful, is it? It's funny. I enjoy it. I like tossing in between of like, ha ha ha, man doing silly funny thing. That's goofy. Or like, I see boys together. Like my house, is like overlooks the men's lacrosse house at school. So I see those boys out there all the time. More often than not, they're playing Rage Cage or Cup Pong, like just day drinking. It's a Tuesday, go study. I don't know. We're at a T30 school. Like, we don't need to be doing this, but that's besides the point. But I'll see them, and like at first I'll judge them, and I'll be like, "What do you, that like what I just did? Like, y'all get inside, like study. This is fucking bonkers. Y'all need to go to AA because you should not be drinking this regularly, even in like a socially permittable space." But then I keep looking, and I am like, this is nice. Like, I have so much envy for like boyhood for some reason. Like, boy friendships are just so pure to me. They are based like, there's a woman who I was in program with, and her like boyfriend and his best friend, they're like inseparable. They've known each other forever, and like the basis of their friendship is just like they vibe together. And she was talking to me, and she's like, oh yeah, like my boyfriend like doesn't even know his best friend's like favorite color. And it's so crazy to me how like I feel like in a lot of female friendships there is so much nuance. Like all you do is like debrief, spill the tea, gossip. Like that's all you guys do, which is like beautiful. And like obviously these are not absolute statements, but like in boyhood it's just so pure. Like I look out and I see these boys like on the deck like playing a game. Like in another world, probably 3 years ago, these boys would have been hanging out in the same way on their high school bleachers, like just vibing with each other, or on a on a lacrosse field, like fucking bumping up against each other. I don't know. And like I was passing one of the frat houses the other day with my girlfriend, and we're like, oh, the frats, blah blah blah. And then we stopped and looked because, first of all these men, their shirts are always off. So like, ew, like why is your flesh out? Like, I mean, it's hot, but it's never that hot. If they can wear, if they don't have to wear their shirts, why do I? Type beep. But we're walking by and we're both like, ew. And then like we took a moment and we're like, wait, like they're eating breakfast together as a frat house on the porch. And that was so beautiful to me. And it really is just the little things. It's like all these things make us so distinctly human. And I think it's really cool that there is an aspect of being a man that protects you, that allows you to do those things that are so innately human and be protected because of your gender. I don't think it would be the same experience of women. I live like 3 doors down from the girls' soccer house. If they all sat on their porch eating breakfast together, I have reason to believe, at least in the time span they were sitting there, and one of them would get catcalled. holes burned in their clothes, like things like that. Like, it's just a very different experience. I don't know, that was a tangent. I don't even know where I was going with that, but I have like the deep love for like the protective factor of boyhood and what that brings. And like, you can't see, but one of my posters is Stand By Me, and that's one of my favorite movies, honestly, because it is just so pure, so simple, so beautiful. And like, even now, coming into college and just like this life that like I'm building for myself, like all of the friends I had growing up, I've known since I was 5 years old. I love them dearly, and like, they are absolutely like a product of my environment. Like, yes, I got to choose the people within my environment I wanted to surround myself with, all of which I really, truly, deeply love. But also, like, had we not gone to school together, we wouldn't have crossed paths. Like, this wouldn't. There was such a small pool to choose from. I selected the best of the best to be my friends, but like, it really was such a small pool of people to choose from. And like, now that I'm entering spaces that are so much larger, so much bigger, there's so many more people and personalities, styles and backgrounds, like, I get to really be intentional with who I let into my life. And like, some of my favorite friendships at the current moment are my friends that are guys. Like, there's just really such a beauty. Like, I feel like with a lot of the friends I've made that are girls, not that I have to think, but like, I do have to think a lot. Like, I have to think more. I think girls are really intentional about the things that they do, and often like overthink more too about the things that they do or they don't do, or what people do for them or what they don't do for them. So a lot of my friendship with my guy friends are just so beautiful. They're so pure. They're so exactly what they are. To me, it feels like there's no guessing. There's no confusion. It is simply, hey, can I come sit on the floor of your room and let's shoot the shit for 3 hours? And I do, and it's beautiful, and it's great, and it's grand. It is a text like, yo, are you pulling up to this party? Bet I'll see you there. I don't know. My point is, I love my guy friends. I don't know what my point is, but back to my main point, in that performative male competitions, blah 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 blah. I still love to make fun of guys. I love to make fun of my guy friends. I do. I truly do. And also, a part of that, I think, roots from a bit of jealousy, in that there's a dynamic that I never got to experience, and like, will never get to fully experience. But it's really cool looking from the outside in on that. But in terms of performative masks contest, masculine women being performative, which, first of all, to be a woman is to perform. To be anything but a man, I think, is to perform. There are endless standards for how women are supposed to be, behave, dress, act, think, be in this world. And I think no matter what you do is to perform. Like, you saw my last fucking video, was essentially disassociated, like, trying to ground myself in reality. And that is how most of my life looks. Not on camera, not on TikTok, not on Instagram. Like, that is how most of my life looks. That is how the people closest to me see me at my worst. When I step outside and I have a job and I'm at my little gay barista job and I'm like smiling and I'm making my drink, that's performative. I mean, there's a lot of things that I do that are performative, and it's simply for the sake of not burdening those around me. And also, it's hard not to be. The clothes I wear, while they are genuine and authentically me to the me that I know, what I'm putting on, it comes from somewhere. It comes from some version of myself that wanted to be this, some version of myself that didn't want to be this, some version of somebody else that once said something about the way that I dressed that informed me to do this. I don't think being genuine in yourself is performative, but I do think we come from a society where no matter how much you think you are doing something for yourself or something is true to who you are being influenced by a greater power, subconsciously, most of the times, or consciously. So anyways, back to being the performative mask competition. I think it's done. Women are already societally designed to perform. Beauty is performance. It's impossible not to when the world is asking a lot of an individual that is humanly impossible. When I was in program, I was in a body dissonance group, and we were talking about like the standards of a woman, the body beauty standards of a woman, like what is traditionally seen as beautiful: fair skin, white teeth, long blonde hair, thigh gap, no waist. Like, to have no waist, you need to have hips and boobs, just like long legs, long-ish torso, hairless body, all these things. But like none of these things come naturally, and if you had a person that actually looked like that, it would look absolutely crazy, because you're not meant to have hips and a thigh gap. You're not meant to, like, there's some things that just like our bodies are not meant to do. And I think the way that we come to the world, and we're asked to look all of these ways and be all of these ways, we're gonna fit into whatever box we think will help us succeed the most. For me, a lot of it was subconscious. I grew up in rewind. I grew up in predominantly white spaces. I still am, but now I have a lot more context of other influences, like at the institution I'm at now. But like growing up, that was all I was seeing. So to me, the beauty standard, even though it wasn't being said to me, the beauty standard I was seeing was white girls who genetically are often thinner than black people. And so in my head, I'm like, oh, that is what's beautiful. That is what is desired. That is what I want to be. And I acted on that in a way that was incredibly harmful to my well-being. And now, like, all of a sudden I get out of treatment and I'm back at school with like far more black people than I had ever could even conceptualize prior to coming to college. And all of a sudden my For You page is like all these beautiful black women with beautiful bodies, just bodies. They have bodies. And I'm like, this is crazy, because if I grew up and that is what I saw, and that was the standard that I was seeing all the time, I have reason to believe the things I did to myself to make me fit into a box that was not meant for me likely would have been lessened significantly. Back to Jesus Christ, sorry, I'm like really tangential today. So yeah, I think it's unhelpful, one, because to be a woman is to perform. Two, you're performing, these women go up and they perform acts of masculinity, which again puts a gender binary on things that are genderless. You see clips of them with hammers in their pockets or doing push-ups or pull-ups. You see them like being like toxic. Like there's this large trope in the queer community of like a toxic mask, like a short toxic mask, like blah blah blah. And it's just like, these things were assigned to maleness by society because that was behaviors and patterns that were being seen on repeat. Now, you are trying to put somebody who is a woman into the box of a man. You can be masculine and be a woman, but that doesn't mean you need to go up on stage and show your physical strength. If that's something you're proud of, that is great. If you are a girl and you love trucks and firefighters and like the things that like you think of for boys, that is awesome, that is great. But why put the word performative in front of it if that is something that is true to yourself? I think it is reductive to put women in a box that is not meant for them, and to have them get up on stage, prance around, do the things. Like the performative male contest, I think the things that were performative about them were things that made them more desirable to women. Like there's a common trope of like, oh, who cooked here? Like when a man knows like how to use like I don't know, a candle warmer, when a man's house is like nice and clean and tidy, when a man's house, or when a man like asks deep, thoughtful questions, and like the comments on social media are always like, oh, who cooked here? Like somebody was here before me. Like who worked with this man and taught him all this stuff? They're teaching him like good, productive things that everybody should be doing. Um, just because it's typically a woman's role doesn't mean a man shouldn't also have a clean house, shouldn't also ask deep and thoughtful questions. And we're reducing them to people that are essentially incompetent of doing the bare minimum. And like, yeah, in the society when like historically women are the ones doing the things, it's more often than not that men aren't growing up to be taught how to do these things. But I think it's counterintuitive to assume that they don't know how to do whatever it is, or that they don't want to do whatever it is, or they're choosing not to do whatever it is, because that's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh, little Johnny over here, yeah, like we never taught him how to clean up his room, and like it'll be fine because his wife is gonna do it one day. Well, that's not helpful, is it? Let's teach little Johnny how to clean up his room so that he and his wife can both equally clean up the room. And heck, maybe little Johnny doesn't even have a fucking wife. Maybe he has a husband. Maybe he has a husband and a wife. I don't fucking know. But little Johnny, we're already setting him up for failure if we're putting these standards on him. Or these lack of standards on him. And I think it's... So that's like the performative male, and that's why I have an issue with performative male contest. And for performative mass contest, I have an issue with this because it's like the flip. The performative male, you're teaching them good things that women would normally do, or like women desire, more feminine traits that are seen as good. For performative mass contest, you're having these women do things like on stage, like do things that are seen as less good, which like equates to this like world view we have, or not even world, but like just like societal view within this country that many people have on men and like their lack of capability to do things. So we'll have a performative mask go up there and be like, oh yeah, like I've been talking to this girl for 4 weeks. I really like her, but like she won't send me photos of her body. I'm gonna ghost her. Why are we holding this as a standard? Like, I don't get it. And it's like one thing for these women to go up there and like, you know, show their strength, do push-ups. Like I saw one girl on my For You page like doing a one-handed push-up, very impressive, great stuff. And then she was the one that ended up winning this competition in New York, and like I saw her video and she was like flexing. I'm like, this is great. Like clearly this girl values her own strength. She values what she has trained her body to be able to do. I think that's a great thing. And if that's like a genuine interest of her, that shouldn't be a part of this performance. That is just who she is and what she values and a hobby she has. Whereas if other people doing this thing like I just described, like the ghosting thing, or like fucking like yelling at people, like these are, just because these are tropes within a community doesn't mean they should be put on a pedestal and performed as if that's the only variation of this person to exist. And like I think too a lot about how like domestic violence is so elevated, specifically in women loving women relationships, because there isn't a man. People don't think, oh, your wife is beating on you. Like people aren't, that's not the immediate assumption, because, which is weird, because first there's one side where it's like, oh, who's the man in the relationship, who wears the pants, who's doing this, who's paying for that, who's treating her, like, oh, like my mask doesn't need flowers, my mask doesn't need to be treated like I'm all for her, I'm all for my family, blah blah blah. Problematic because one, this is two women or two gender non-conforming people or whatever common, any non-man individual conforming to a heteronormative standard, which is so counterintuitive when you are not a man. Why would you conform to a heteronormative standard when this is simply not who you are? So we have people questioning, oh, who wears the pants, who does this, blah blah blah. insisting that there is somebody in the relationship that should be doing these things. And then when it comes to the other side of things that are potentially actually happening in countless sapphic relationships, such as domestic violence, domestic abuse, sexual abuse, any of these things, it goes so underlooked because there is no man. There is no man in the relationship. So, why would there be screaming in the house? Why would she be beating on her? Like, people don't understand that there are so many sides to every perspective, and that your standards for, oh, this relationship should look like this on one side, but like could never exist over here. And it just like, it frustrates me because when we play into these tropes, we're just creating more room and more space for these unrealistic standards or these performative measures, for these things to continue to erode our society, essentially. They already exist. We're already fighting it. People are already doing like the civic engagement, like actual work to stop these ideas from perpetuating and like continuing on from generation to generation to generation. Like, we are just now getting out of like this, like, oh, like, my wife is only a housewife, she only takes care of the children, she cooks, she cleans, and that is all she does. We are just now getting out of that after hundreds and hundreds of years of this understanding of that is what a household should look like. This is a nuclear family, this is what it should look like. And now all of a sudden, as a different population, a queer community, we are deciding to continue to play into those tropes as if it's something funny, as if it's like a joke to be held, to be had. And like, yes, these things do great on TikTok. Like, they entertain the people. Like, they're all over college campuses. Like, our school had a performative male contest and a woman won it, which honestly has a plethora of implications that I'm sure are gonna start brewing in my head in a second. But a woman won that at our campus. I've seen at other campuses performative male and a woman won it, which just goes to show like, oh, like, men, despite all these things that like seem performative for a man, but can just genuinely be how a man walks through this world, despite that, like, he still cannot win. Like, no matter how performative a man can be, to be like this ideal like boy that just like is so like soft and emotionally intelligent and blah blah blah, there's still going to be a woman to win it because that is not the role a man has in this society. And then like, I'm seeing a lot of historically women's colleges like host these like performative mass contests, which again just play into the opposite side of the tropes, which are honestly equally as harmful. We are in some sense of the word placating men and demonizing women for holding the reversal of roles that they are meant to have in society, or meant to have, that they hold, that people view that they hold on the society. And like, I'm not gonna bullshit you. Like, these videos are fucking hilarious. Like, they are funny, and they're funny because people laugh and people understand and people find them entertaining because it is built off of standards that we have made for ourselves. We are, I still can't find the word. I keep wanting to say paradigm, but that's not it. We're like we're mimicking ourselves. Which, there's only so many ways that like we can stay entertained within a world that is honestly at this point very, very desolate and like void of hope for a future. And also, I think it is very unproductive to continue to hold things like this that just play more and more into the issues we're already trying to combat. I mean, I see all sides of it, and like, I understand the value, and like, sometimes you have to laugh at something to take the power out of it, and also like, I wouldn't necessarily say that's what is being done or like what is actually happening within these spaces. So my point is, if you are a man, Do not perform to be a version of a man if you are a woman. Do not perform to be a version of a woman you are not. If you are something in between, do not perform to be that. We go out, we put on a smile, we fake a laugh, we do our hair in a certain way, or we shave it off. A lot of this is inherently performance. A lot of this is for the perception of others. I find that it is next to useless to have time and space dedicated to acting in a way that is not true to yourself when already 97% of our actions are probably deeply impacted by how you think you are being perceived by others. So I guess my point is despite how scary it is to live in this world, there is always value in the truth, and the value in the truth of being yourself. And to that I say, fight the system from which we came? I don't know. Yeah, that's a nice concluding thought. Anyways, peace out, J Nation. Peace be with you and with your espiritu. Adios.